Hello guys, and today we have a really beautiful selection of the new Ukrainian sanctions implemented by the Ukrainian drones and the Ukrainian missiles on various legitimate military objects of the Russian army, starting with the arsenals and headquarters in the temporarily occupied Luhansk and Donetsk, but also on a military plant located more than 1,300 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border in Izhevsk, Udmurtia. Apart from this very important and evil targets demilitarized, we have to talk more about the Ukrainian drones and Ukrainian missiles capable of doing that. Because this is an important breakthrough in the course of the Russian war, when Ukraine finally can defend itself the way we understand is necessary. Those of you who follow Russian history and the way they attacked Ukraine and many other countries clearly understand that the only working peace plan is to defeat and demilitarize Russia. And for that, we need various long-range weapons. But I think reaching a planned 1,300 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border is definitely a proof of some important changes made. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the collapse of the Kremlin, subscribe, we will discuss that on the channel, trust me, I have a feeling. So let's begin with huge explosions that happened this night in Luhansk and Donetsk. Unfortunately, these cities are under occupation for perhaps the longest since 2014. Life there is miserable and they are packed with Russian logistics hubs, with various military arsenals and invaders. And in the result of very precise, some people compared that to the work of a jeweler. I don't know if you have something similar in the English language, but here we use that in Ukraine. So this precise strikes on the headquarters, military headquarters of the Russian army in Donetsk, potentially neutralizing even an important war criminal, Colonel Goryachkin. His surname can be translated as feverish. Indeed. So anyway, he was an acting commander of Russian Aids Guards Combined Arms Army. And he was sent to join almost 1 million of the Russians who are now, well in hell. And all because they chose to invade Ukraine, to break the international law, to come here to, do all the evil to innocent people. Any Russian soldier has a choice to cross or not to cross this border. And border here is not just this geographical or even legal border. It's an extremely important moral border, and those who choose to cross are responsible. And justice is delivered. In our case, with, some say, Storm Shadow missiles. Might be. But others say this looks like new Ukrainian winged missiles, and I'm happy that from literally very different sources here inside Ukraine, I hear more and more about the development of Ukrainian long-range, mid-range missiles. You've heard about Neptune. It did a lot recently, and it was also a missile that sank a warship Moskva, the symbol of the Russian Black Sea Fleet and the symbol of the invasion that now is rotting or rusting on the bottom of the Black Sea. And we have Sub-Sun missiles, and we have a number of others, and they are super important because they allow us to demilitarize objects very effectively without asking for a permission. So the fact that many people, many organizations, many government bodies keep talking about testing of these ballistic missiles already on the front lines give me more hopes. And subscribe and share these videos to witness that together. And by the way, that's the easiest but very effective way to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. It was also allowed tonight in Angeles and Saratov. You know that military air bases are located there, and they had to close a lot of airports. And let's be honest, right now Russia is also a no-fly zone. And I like it. For the third time during this year, Russians destroyed their own aircraft Su-34. This seems like a number of the Russian soldiers work for Ukraine, and this Su-34 was downed by a pilot himself, his negligence, I don't know, they don't have enough people motivated to work on the front lines, I don't know, but it collapsed near Savasleika, another evil military base, often visited by the Ukrainian drones because they often target us from that airfield with like bombers that then are directed on Ukraine. But you see, karma is working and their own aircraft keep falling. A reminder, the third during just this year. And if we count in general, it's more than 480. And during this June, we had minus 48 Russian aircraft, and all because of the spiderweb operation, but also because of very precise, accurate strikes on various Russian military air bases. But one of the most interesting objects that actually uncovers our Russian geography part of this video is the targeting and serious damage to a military plant Kupol, which can be translated as dome, in Izhevsk. Izhevsk is the capital of Udmurtia. Udmurtia has a wonderful potential to become once an independent country. Many people fight for their cultural and linguistic rules there. And I've mentioned on my channel a number of times one professor coming from that city who, after finishing his career and learning that no more lessons of their native language in schools and universities, decided to, set himself on fire. Being like 74, he felt that Udmurtia and the Russian Federation in general, the way they treat people there is in a very, very bad condition, and it leads to erase of beautiful cultures. That's why the decolonization potential of the Russian Federation is really great. And second, more and more countries that were once on the orbit of the Kremlin, or that were unlucky to be the part of the Soviet Union, or which Kremlin still considers to be its zone of influence, like Azerbaijan, understand Russia is weak and it is time to defeat the monster, to defeat this Frankenstein and get out of its influence. So Izhevsk is 1,300 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border, and that military plant produced missile systems, Tor, Osa, and some drones, because you know that is a war of drones. And one more reason why you need Ukraine and NATO, not just NATO needs Ukraine. Modern wars are fought with totally different technologies and approaches than the ones many NATO armies were trained for. So by targeting this plant, we have once again proved total inability of the Kremlin to protect its territories, and what once was the great benefit of Russia, I mean its territory, its large size, that they were able to hide production, some military arsenals far from the front lines, be it in the Second World War, for example. Right now, it doesn't work anymore, and anything can be reached, especially as we keep developing, improving our long-range drones. These one were Luty. Luty is both February, and you know that's the months when the war started, the full-scale war started, and it's also fierce. So it's also symbolic, and from what videos shared by very media illiterate Russians demonstrate, these drones lack a chassis, this landing gear. So perhaps they are catapulted or something, but this makes their aerodynamics way better, they consume less fuel, and they can travel really far away. So it's not just 1,300 kilometers, it's very likely even more, because people were not letting them fly directly from the front line, perhaps 100 or more kilometers deeper. And that is amazing, and that is shocking for those who truly understand the warfare. Because Russia, that once described itself as invincible, as the second strongest army in the world, turned to be the second strongest army in Russia. I hope we will have more of the Russian geography lessons, provided that we invest in our sanctions, like the ones I have just updated you about. Because, by the way, that plant was under sanctions of the EU in the United States. But I believe that sanctions brought by the Ukrainian drones or the Ukrainian missiles are more persuasive and more effective. Let me know what do you think about this in the comments below, and remember to check my latest video on the new channel, Anna Donelchuk, and soon we will get 13K friends there. I'm always happy when you join us there too. And now we will talk there about Putin's strategy, new strategy that keeps failing. And follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and join our Discord community. All the links that you need in the description of this video, same as the link to our merch shop, where you can find a lot of good products that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, becoming my fighters and guards, and letting me work more. And you know that I like this work, and I like this ability to tell you the truth about Russian war in Ukraine. And personally, I believe there are not enough people speaking about that. So do subscribe to all voices that keep telling the truth from Ukraine. That is super important. Once again, thank you so much. Love you. United we stand. Slava Ukraini!